says that if I dye my hair, if this colour gets dyed with that box, it's going to turn ginger. And it was actually applying the hair dye, and she was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. Maybe it'll go a little bit ginger, but it'll settle to blonde." And I was like, "Okay." Nah, went gold ginger.
Wow.
Like,
You got a picture?
Have you got a picture?
Yeah, I do. I'll put myself over there.
Yeah, we'll have a look later.
Actually.
Yeah,
Just slapped it on the mustache as well. Just married it up.
When I was
Did
on...
you do a mustache as well?
Match the curtain.
What, a gold mustache?
Match the curtains to the drapes.
No, it was probably the worst, one of the worst decisions. And I don't dye my hair. Never dye my hair.
No.
No,
Sure.
First time.
No.
I mean,
Last time?
I've got a bit of salt and pepper going on there. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm in the
Married
I'm in
life.
the raccoon phase.
You're in the silver fox stage.
No,
Look at
yeah, silver
that.
fox, but look at that. It looks actually got a toupee on or something.
I think he's got Lego hair.
He has got Lego hair.
Lego hair.
Fucking Lego hair mean? What the fuck does
you
Lego
could-
hair
You
mean?
could take it off your head. And it would just stay as it is.
It's wire hair, mate. Look, I can't do anything. That's why I don't do it. Nothing happens with it. Look,
You need to put some product in, don't you?
I'm actually pretty gifted in that way. I've got wire grey hair,
Yeah.
baby's bum,
Yeah.
and a dodgy porn tash.
Speaking
When
of
it
dodgy.
grows-
Speaking
It
of,
grows-
yeah,
it's
exactly.
off, but it grows in about 3 days, and then whiskers start coming out a little bit.
Nice.
Is that lucky? I don't know. Some men would prefer not to have a baby's bum on their face.
It's a bit annoying shaving, isn't it? I mean,
We'll have
it's
to edit
annoying.
that one
It
out.
must be annoying. Who shaves here?
Yeah, I shave.
You shave.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it annoying?
Normally.
Yeah, I mean, I've got clippers as well. Like the hair goes everywhere. So I actually have a really weird system when it comes to shaving. So I actually sit with a stool in front of the toilet. Weird. Yeah. I'll make sure the toilet's clean.
You sit with a stool in front of the toilet.
Put a mirror down on the
Okay,
toilet.
so it's the right. It's the right.
Where
Okay.
do you do this?
Well, obviously, I don't want to be doing it over the pan when there's like
Yeah.
stains going on.
No. So you put the lid down.
I always thought
No,
your,
no,
I always
put
thought
the
your,
lid up.
The
I always
lid
thought your stool goes in the toilet.
Oh, I
Personally.
see. So that the hair goes in the doodah.
Yeah, so I put the
Yeah.
mirror down.
He's talking
on the
about lower
toilet.
administration, ain't not.
No, I'm talking about face.
Upper
And then-
administration,
and then-
lower administration.
Just I clip away and little hair
And it
goes
just goes
into the
straight
toilet,
into the
and then
toilet.
wipe round.
Done. That's incredible.
White
We
wound.
do that now.
Wipe round.
Do you have this rule? Interesting. We're talking about toilets here, but do you have you must sit down on the toilet regardless in your household?
No.
So the men in my
I only
house-
have boys.
Are not allowed to stand up and pee.
Well, that's probably
Because I
because
have to
you,
clean the
you
piss
pee.
out.
Exactly.
Have you seen that? Right,
Spray. Yeah.
Freaking explosion. I'm like sitting down now. So everybody has to sit down.
Clean yourself.
I sit down. Why would I clean? I have to clean up the pee.
His wife's the worst.
No, she stands up actually.
Oh man.
Let's get on with it,
So let's
Jesus.
get on with
Hey,
it.
when you go into this role, we do have to have a 3-second pause. It's a nightmare cutting it.
No, I think we should just roll with
include
this one.
bit.
No, I could. Really?
Yeah,
Go on, go.
absolutely. So, the Pinnacle podcast. Welcome, guys. You would have heard our pre-chat. This is our official podcast from Pinnacle Performance, a space to share real stories, coaching wisdom, mindset shifts, and everything in between. It's not about shouting over each other. Well, maybe sometimes. It's honest conversations, practical insights, building a stronger community inside and outside the gym. And we have Michael in the background doing some serious weights. Well done, Michael. Go, go, go. Don't drop it, mate. He's good.
Easy.
Easy.
Doing his own podcast.
How much was that?
80.
70
He's doing some
kilos.
content creation there.
Is he? Yeah.
He's doing it. Yeah.
So we're joined today by Joel, who is a videographer for England Rugby. Very, very cool to have you. And Ross and Andy, my wonderful co-hosts,
Yo.
as usual.
Yo.
Yo. Joel, we like to start our podcast with a bit of a learnings from the week. So I'm going to go first this time because normally I don't go first and I get forgotten about. But when I first joined Pinnacle and I was upstairs in the little warm-up area, there's a poster on the wall and it says it's not about perfect, it's about effort, and when you bring that every single day, that's when transformation happens and that's how change occurs. It's Harry and my 3-year anniversary. Harry's my coach. Yes, he's my coach. And I was looking through pictures of when I first started and the things I've been doing, and when we took a couple of shots today as well, and I can honestly say that I have come when it's been pouring with rain, when I've not felt my best, when I've had a great day. And actually, over the 3 years, I have been super consistent in my training. And I can honestly say I can see the difference. And I've not changed my life significantly, but it's been a real pleasurable journey. I've loved every minute of it. I've found out I'm super strong, which I never thought I was. And it's just been amazing. So for anyone listening, if there's something that you really want to get good at, it's not going to happen on the first effort. It will happen over time if you keep going and you keep consistent. So that's my learning of the week.
Does
which
your
I thought was
husband know
fun.
about this bit on the side?
Well, no, actually, Harry's my dirty secret.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Dirty
Dirty
Harry.
Dirty Harry, yeah, we love it. Yeah, we love it.
No, so that's mine. How about you guys? Andy, do you want to go
I've
next?
forgotten my learning of the week. It'll come back to me. So
Okay.
someone go first. I know.
It's a good learning.
Yes.
Remember, you're learning.
Yeah.
That's a great message as well. My wife's just started a new program for the first time. She hasn't exercised in, however, I don't think she's ever exercised. So
Yeah, I was going to
if you're
say if she ever
listening,
needed
Katie, that's
to.
one for you. For me, it's not very deep at all. I was watching, and I don't watch this regularly. I was watching First Dates, and there was
First
a
date, as in
First date.
As in-
first day. I thought you
As in
said
the
first
TV
date course.
show.
Isn't it?
I was watching First Date. That's good learning. No, I was watching First Dates, and this woman said, she said apparently around ants, they can't die in a microwave because they're too small. The actual microwaves basically pass them because
Really?
they're so small. So they'd only die if they stop moving at any moment for a long period of time. But apart from that, they can survive microwaves.
And did you back this finding
No.
up? Oh, okay.
No.
I was hoping you would.
So it's a learning, but I haven't
Tested it.
tested
Is that why like ants and cockroaches always survive nuclear fallouts and stuff?
I think that's more an urban myth than
Is it?
I think so.
Oh,
Not that I've tried it.
well, this could be an urban myth too.
I googled it.
You did.
I did Google it, yeah.
It's true.
I backed it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I mean, I thought surely. Well, firstly, I thought if I'm going to go on and speak about this, then I need to at least make sure it's true. So I googled it, and yeah, it's true. Basically, they're just too small for the microwaves. The microwaves pass them or pass around them.
I'm
So, yeah.
flattered. Do you think that all we speak on here is the truth?
You've got to speak the truth, otherwise you can't get away with not speaking the truth.
Fake
these
news. Yeah.
Fake news. Speaking of fake news, Ross,
Well, I'm going to go deep this week. I don't normally go deep, but I'm going to go balls deep this week. And it's more.
what about today on the podcast?
Yeah, it's more. I don't know if it's an observation or it's something that's happened to me for the first time. But I've come across an individual, and I'm not going to give any hints to who they are or what, but newly sort of arrived in my life in some capacity. And I don't know. It was really going to be a question to everyone else. That have you ever come across someone that you've only like met for like 5 minutes, but without really giving them any kind of hints or background, that they just almost like know you or get you completely. I hate that term. Thanks, man. It's to the point where it sort of freaks you out a little bit, where like people that have maybe known you your whole life or known you certainly a lot longer haven't maybe understood you quite as well as this individual that's come into your life in like the last 5 seconds. Anyone? No? Is that just me?
days.
Or?
Way to hear.
Nah, it's not just yeah. No.
I think I strongly believe that there are people in the world that are your people.
Yeah, like they're almost like it was all. I don't believe in fate or any of that, but
But when you
almost
meet
felt
people-
like
sometimes when you meet people,
like
you're
some
like-
weird
I think the universe.
The
Universe.
I don't want to sound like
universe.
I didn't want to sound like a trio league, but I think a little bit the universe pushes you a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like there's
so
a
it's not about being a tree hugger or anything.
yeah,
like that.
there's some sort of magnetism or pull there.
Yeah, it's good,
It's a
mate.
bit weird.
You've wanted that to happen, and it's come
Yeah.
to you.
I also think so. To flip it around for a second, when you met this person, were you just yourself?
yeah. That's
So,
the scariest bit.
but there's something really powerful in
He's an
that, though,
incredible
isn't
human,
there?
honestly. I would, if I passed you.
But there's something in that you were being completely. There's a lot of touching going on here for those who are listening.
Sorry.
I'm not a very hairy individual.
I was just struck at how smooth it was. Sorry.
Anyway, back to your deep thing is I've completely forgotten what I was.
Yeah,
gonna
no,
say.
it was.
That's lovely, Ross, because you're being your authentic self, and
Yeah,
somebody
there you
else has
go.
met you and
Yeah.
met you at that same place.
I'm loving it, mate. This is great.
Have you remembered yours now?
I know what mine is now.
Okay, what's it?
Yeah, I do.
He's getting emotional now.
Ross is like, oh, it's too deep.
It
Let's
needs
move
to
on.
matter. Mine isn't really a learning, but like I actually, not many people have tortoises as pets. Tortoises. Don't laugh. It's not funny. It's not funny. But I actually, my tortoise is called. My tortoise is called Turbo.
Turbo. I thought you were going to say turtle.
No, not a turtle. They live in the water. Tortoise land.
Okay, yeah.
So you'd be surprised actually how many people don't know the difference between a
No,
tortoise and a
okay.
turtle.
Yeah.
But my tortoise is called Turbo. And when Turbo was about, I'll have to go a bit around the houses a little bit. But Turbo's actually, we thought it was a boy, but it's actually a girl. So it's actually called Turbolina. But
When did you find this out, Turbine?
well, about 3 or 4 years ago, because actually Terman tortoises, the females, the males, the under part of their shell is rounded, obviously, because they need to mount. Have you ever seen a tortoise have sex?
Yes.
Incredible.
Best video ever.
Best video ever.
The noise.
The noise is like a screaming American.
There's a social media channel where it's a guy who basically gets his turtle to mount his shoe, and it's just a different shoe every time. And then he puts the mic literally like this up to the turtle's mouth, and it is like
The turtle or the tortoise?
sorry, the tortoise.
The tortoise.
I'm not.
Surely they make the same sort of sound.
They
anyway.
probably do, but underwater sounds.
Okay, so guys, where are we
Okay,
going
we need
with
to go
this?
back to what.
Yeah, your
This is
learning
getting
of the
pretty
week.
sick now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually,
Short version.
what I'm trying to say is, obviously tortoises hibernate, don't they? They hibernate and then they come back. So my tortoise, it gets his head down about November and wakes up
Do you
when the
put him in the
dandelions
fridge?
come out. No, never in the fridge.
My friend
don't.
used to put hers in the
Yeah, you can do, but I prefer the more natural thing of like doing this thing and then put it in a box, then it goes in the garage. Anyway, Turbo's got a friend called Mr. T. All right, Mr. T lives with RX Physio here. That is
Turbo's a girl.
Yeah, but
okay.
Mr. T is someone who used to work in the gym with us, the physio Tom. His stepdad is basically got another tortoise called Mr. T, and Turbo goes round to see Mr. T once a year. And I just want to say that I really miss my tortoise. That's my learners. They didn't realize how much I'd miss my tortoise.
Joel, I'm so sorry.
You have a dog though.
No,
You have a
Stick her in
dog.
the fridge.
Yeah, but we're not talking about. I'm talking about Mr. Turbo. I really miss Turbo.
I think like that is for me as important to listen to you as it is to Ross. You know, if you're missing your tortoise,
Yeah.
and Ross feels like he's just met someone that has known him, that's on the same path.
Don't bracket me with this pick.
You have feelings. He has feelings.
I just didn't realize how much I'd miss my tortoise. She's not cutting around the garden, eating vegetables.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Sorry, they're still alive though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm picking her up today.
It's just on holiday. Just on
I'm picking her up today from Mr. T's house.
What do they get up to together?
You'd be surprised actually how the female gets tortured by the male. He basically charges around after her, and she tries to evade him.
Comes back with shell shock.
Andy, that's a wonderful learning for the week.
Thanks,
Thank
mate.
you
So
for
it's the longest
sharing
learning
that.
we've ever had.
If anyone needs any support or advice, more importantly, let's get on to the meat of today's conversation. And speaking of meat, many of your tours have taken you to the best place in the world for meat. Joel, great to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. As I said in the intro, you're the videographer for England Rugby. I'd love to sort of start our conversation with what drew you to storytelling through videography? Like, what was it? Was it rugby itself? Or was it the craft of videographing? Where did this all start?
Yeah, I guess the storytelling. The the storytelling element for me is more of the creative process of it, I guess, is what I enjoy the most. I've always loved making videos since I was young, stupidly, with not like that. But we'd I'd be at school and we'd be making videos at school and just being pretty stupid with it. I actually took media production or media studies as it was at college at the time with no real interest in it, just purely to try and get more UCAS points to get into uni. But then I was kind of quickly sort of learned about myself that I actually really quite enjoy it, the creative process of having an idea, putting the camera on, filming it, going away, putting it then together, and then sort of seeing that idea that you had in your brain just as a sort of materialize. That's the word I was looking for. So that for me is what storytelling is about. If you find a great story, you have an idea of how you want to then tell it, and then you work with the person in order to tell it, and then you see it come to life. It's fantastic. Yeah.
So for those people who don't know what a videographer is or does per se, so you've spoken about storytelling. What is the predominant role of what do you do for your job?
Yeah, so it's definitely changed over time. So I started with England. I started back in 2016. So it was actually December 2015. And then my first sort of campaign with the England senior men's team was 2016 Six Nations. And back then it was slightly different. So what I do now, it's evolved over time. So beforehand we were predominantly the media team who would go in, we'd film maybe the 15 minutes of training, which all of the media get. Okay. And then we would maybe later on that day sit down with a player and just do a sort of relatively generic interview. And then it wasn't until sort of 2018 where obviously relationships with players, they grow over time. You get a little bit more access, you get a little bit more out of the player. It was then we started sort of going into their rooms and doing sort of more fun content, showing a little bit more behind the scenes. And then Eddie Jones, who was head coach at the time, I think he was talking to an NFL coach, and the NFL coach was talking around content and how important it is to bring the fans along on journeys, or bring the fans along and show them the characters within the teams. And Eddie was kind of, I think from what I hear, he was kind of like, okay, so you guys in the NFL, you kind of do this almost competing with each other. And the guy replied, yeah, we kind of do it. We want to outdo the opposition in regards to our content and how good it is.
Awesome.
That was when Eddie, I think, thought, okay, this is something we should try. So that World Cup in 2019 was the first time we kind of did more behind the scenes stuff. So yeah. We did a series called Rising Suns, which was on YouTube, and it was just a weekly sort of mini doc throughout the whole World Cup process. And then from there, going forward, I was more behind the scenes. So I was doing showing meetings, showing all the activities that the players get up to, showing a lot more training drills, that sort of thing, and from there, yeah, it sort of grew. So
that's super cool. So over when you first started, I bet you didn't think that this would be a decade-long journey in terms of career, but you've clearly you've built up the recognition amongst the players. You obviously know them on a personal level now, so they become a little bit more comfortable in sharing stuff with you because they trust you.
Yeah, and that's it. That's probably the one thing I learned very quickly is the way in which you can get the best out of somebody is obviously by having that trust, having that relationship, and that doesn't obviously happen instantly, but there's a few things that a lot along the way really help that, and that's maybe doing a bit of content for their own channel, so that I scratch
you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Yeah.
And then it was a case of, look, you wouldn't necessarily say, oh, by the way, because I've done that for you, can I have this? But it was a simple thing that, could I grab you for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
In your own time, sit down and just do a quick interview, and absolutely sure, no problem at all. So that trust, that relationship aspect was very important.
I like watching rugby. I don't understand the rules that much. I'm a sort of watch England at the World Cup type thing, and I love it. I love watching it. It's really, really cool. I do watch a lot of football, and what the interviews kill me. and I don't watch rugby interviews at all. Do you find that, what's rugby interviewing? How do you find it? I was chatting with Harry this morning about football, not even relevant to this subject really, how boring it is and rhetorical, and it's boring, basically. It's completely boring. How was the match? You won, they won the match. How did you feel? No, I felt shit. It's boring, isn't it? It's all staid and it feels like super media trained, or they're super media trained to make this, takes out the emotion out of anything of the interview.
Yeah, I think in professional sport, I guess, and it's something that a lot in regards to different sports, you'll get different characters, and obviously sometimes those characters will come out in the interviews. But with professional sport, there is a lot of I wouldn't say necessarily pressure, but there's a lot of emphasis on making sure that they say the right thing. And that's not across all sports, and it's not across all teams. So I don't want to necessarily bracket everybody into the same sentence there. But what you'll find is that they will be briefed before their interview.
And they'll have to say a certain thing. So on that point though, and the storytelling becomes really important because you bring the players to life a little bit. Have you seen the South African, there's a clip that goes around about the South African team when they're lining up to do their team photo, and they all come in, and then there's a bit of punching and and they're ruffling each other's hair, and just by showing that part of the team pre the stayed picture of the formal team has really brought the team to life. And it's that kind of thing which I think you do really well, by the way, with the England Rugby team. They're still not the world champions, obviously.
I don't want to talk about
we
that.
don't. Okay,
No.
we don't talk about that. But
Two World Cups
it's it's the storytelling element of your job. Did you think your job would be about storytelling when you first started it?
Probably not. No, I wouldn't necessarily say. Like, we always wanted to at least at the beginning show or at least inform the fans of what's going on behind closed doors. So that was always the idea, and we would do that in a couple of formats. We'd do that in podcast format. We'd do that in like I say, the sort of the interviews that we did, and then showing the training, and trying to get at least to show the fans an element of what is going on. But I guess the way in which it did change was we were able to almost throw the doors wide open, and that enabled us to tell stories in a completely different way. Some quite emotional, some quite deep, some quite funny. We were able to hit it with lots of different angles. But sorry, going back to your question, no, I probably didn't necessarily anticipate the type of storytelling we would do eventually. Yeah.
Probably right in saying though that England, and obviously you and your team, have kind of pioneered the whole behind the scenes thing. Would that be fair to say? And then other teams have kind of followed suit? Or?
Yeah, in some respect, but I guess the behind the scenes element of sport has always been out there. I think when I was kind of looking into this format of doing behind the scenes, where you'd sit a player down and you'd get them looking down the barrel and talking, that in its essence had been done.
Because my first experience of that was, I remember I had on video actually the 2001 Lions tour to Australia, and that was kind of the first time that a camera crew had been allowed behind the scenes of a touring side, and sort of been given full access.
I guess the only sort of difference that what we were doing was, like a World Cup when we first started it, was going and actually doing something in the moment. So it was with a lot of behind the scenes stuff. It's recorded and then it's put out, say, a couple of months later, like the Lions DVD would come out before Christmas time. So then obviously they would have a lot of time to craft and edit exactly what they wanted, get it all approved, get it all signed off. Whereas the difference with what we have done now for 6 years almost is that in the moment weekly documentary mini doc on YouTube. So you'll never be the finished sort of polished product like you would get with a Netflix documentary, but it, as a tool, it was there to engage the audience and bring them along on the actual journey as it happened. And that was
don't forget the general public who aren't videographers won't know that. They'll be looking and thinking that's really cool, right? So I guess your it's not going to be like Netflix. Well, it does look like it because we don't know, right? That's not our specialism.
That's very kind of you to say.
Do you know?
Any other sort of question I had initially in my head was not really on the subject I guess we've kind of spoken about, but I always wanted to know, do you have any input or do you help at all in like match analysis or video analysis of training sessions or like matches or anything like that? Or was it purely from a social media point of view?
So again, partly to show the backroom staff especially and the coaches that we as a video team, or just when it was just myself as a video team, like we want to help. So we're not just here to create content and get likes and views. We're here to help the performance, or at least help we're on the same goal and the same journey as everybody else. And one thing, like I said before, getting the best out of someone, getting the best out of a team is having those relationships. And the way to get those relationships sometimes, like I mentioned, is to do things and to help out in any way possible and show you're willing. So and that may be putting together a nice video for a meeting that the players will be watching. So I remember once Eddie Jones got me to do a video of it was the England team with Tiger Woods. So it's showing the comparison between the journey of England in 2003, Tiger Woods when he was at his pomp, and then England having that sort of decline throughout the years. So 2007 World Cup, actually, obviously they made the final, lost to
South Africa.
But then 2011, 2015, and it's kind of like since they've won the World Cup, they've been sort of going this way. Tiger Woods, after his pomp, he kind of had a little bit of a dip. Obviously, there was a lot of things going on off the pitch. But then it's like showing Tiger Woods, and I think it was just after he won, I want to say either the Masters or I'm not very sort of clued up with golf, but it's when he came back and he won a major. It was then showing England can do the same. So I was just basically putting all of this footage of England sort of over the years
in comparison to
Tiger Woods, and that was played just before the at the beginning of the 2019 campaign. So it's little things like that, just helping out coaches. If you spot anything in training, clipping it up and sending it to a coach and just saying, look, I saw this is quite good.
Have you ever inadvertently sort of stitched one of the boys up by videoing something like behind the scenes, and then the coach sees it and is like, probably shouldn't have been doing that?
No.
Well, we're fortunate, so everything that we film we get approved.
Right.
So people so that coaches if needs be will watch it. And so no, a lot of the time if we've been doing it for so long, we know what isn't necessarily kosher when it comes to putting it out. The only thing that we kind of do every now and again is provide content, obviously, like I say, for meetings, and some of it can be funny. So sometimes we have stitched lads up for meetings.
Right, okay. So
Any funny, stupid stuff.
Such a rugby thing to do.
It is, feels like that.
Yeah, I actually had a little bit of experience of it. So obviously one of my other jobs is working for the Alistair and Johnny Brownlee, quite two famous triathletes, obviously. And posting the wrong pictures or videos with the wrong sponsors or shirts, big thing, isn't it?
Very big
thing. And you don't think it when you first go into it. I mean, I was thrown into it really, or I threw myself into it. And I put something up, and it was the wrong sponsor on a shirt or something. The next minute, the manager's phoning me up. He's going, "Get that off social media now," in a nice way, nice sort of direct way.
Please get that off social
Yeah, but
media.
it must have been quite tricky in the beginning for you to know what you can and can't do, and you just don't think of it, do you? Because it's not.
No, and that is big, and there, especially now in rugby, the branding, the marketing, that element of it is getting bigger and bigger, and you have to be mindful of if lads are rocking around in their comfies, for example. Even with the England stuff that we do, currently our shirt sponsor, our sort of clothing sponsor is Castor. We need to show the lads wearing Castor, and they're not wearing it all the time. So if they're rocking around their comfies and they've got Nike on, then we got to blur that. So there's lots of different elements when it comes to that.
It's
for sure.
A lot to think about.
It's a bit of a Wild West, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really keen to. I'm curious actually. So you've been on not only one but 2 Lions tours.
Yeah.
What's the sort of standout moment that is there something that stands out from one or both of them?
Well, I mean, the first Lions tour was what's been dubbed as the COVID Lions tour. So it was when we went over to South Africa, and it was actually when this country was slowly coming out of lockdown, but South Africa was probably the opposite. They were almost, I'd say, 6 months behind where we were. So everything was locked down. We went over there. There was no fans. In itself, it was tricky. You know, we were in the same hotel for the whole pretty much the whole campaign.
Wow.
We weren't allowed out. We weren't allowed to see family, anything like that. And when we then came back, we had to quarantine, in inverted commas, in Jersey for I think it was 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we were actually allowed to, because South Africa was listed as a red country.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to just come straight back to the UK because the Lions had done a deal with Jersey to train on their island and bring in a lot of, obviously, tourism at the beginning. They then allowed us to come back and almost via Jersey, quarantine in some respects, quarantine on the island, and then go back to the UK. So that was the first tour in which, as a Lions tour, a lot of the people who were on that tour said, who have been on previous ones, make sure you get yourself on the next one, because
that wasn't a real one.
As a Lions tour, it wasn't necessarily the same experience. The one thing that stands out for me on the one just gone was that game, the second test at the MCG.
Yeah.
When the team won with pretty much the last play of the game.
Yes.
Hugo Keenan try. For me, that will live with me for the rest of my life, purely because I was pitch side, I was filming the lads, filming the guys on the bench.
Yeah.
The MCG was 100,000, pretty much full capacity.
Yeah.
And when that try went over, in the way they won it, it was I'll never forget that moment. And Hugo Keenan himself, he'd had quite a tricky tour.
Yeah.
So he'd been quite unwell. He'd had some sort of stomach bug in which he lost a lot of weight. He wasn't eating. There was a sort of moment where we were kind of thinking, is he actually going to have to go home?
Yeah.
And for him to sort of finish that try off in the way he did and win the series was incredible. Incredible moment.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I'll never forget that.
That's goosebumpy stuff, isn't it? That's super cool. And on that same vein, are there any stories that have happened behind the scenes that you wished you'd caught on camera?
Not really. I guess for, you know, there's always the desire to film more. There's always the desire to convince the coaches to allow us to film everything. I remember, and this obviously, there's no regrets in anything, but I remember, so in the 2019 World Cup, we played England played the All Blacks in the semi-final, and they famously did sort of like an arrowhead as they faced the haka. And there was afterwards, when it happened, they were talking about the meeting in which they all discussed it, and how they were discussing if we step over this far, is there then going to be a potential fine for us and stuff like that. And Marla was kind of like, I'm just going to do it anyway. And it's like those little bits of maybe the real insight, the real sort of behind the scenes that we probably would never necessarily get. Which the mindset element, which I think since then we've gone on to do bits of and elements of. But it's like, to be honest with you, everything that we've captured, I'd say, I mean, there might be something that will come to me by the end, but no.
So I feel like, just touching on that thing with Marla and the sort of realness of these players, and I don't want to go too much into like the Netflix documentary, because a lot of people and a lot of rugby guys, and there's a lot of rugby podcasts out there, have already said their piece on it. But I feel like the rugby community were kind of disappointed a little bit by the Netflix documentary, because we felt like a lot of these characters were sort of curbed. And you know, you and I have grown up playing rugby pretty much our whole lives, and there are a lot of characters in the game, and I think that's what I was kind of looking forward to watching on Netflix, was to really see these characters showcased and see rugby showcased in the way that it should have been. And I know it is. I don't really know what my point is to this, but I just feel like I wish that almost for the future that's kind of the reins are kind of loosened a bit, but
Yeah.
kind of unfortunate. I get that there's a fine line, I can imagine.
Yeah, I feel like there was definitely an improvement from the second to the first
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
So I worked with Netflix on the first series, and it was tricky because I think as an actual thing, it was probably not necessarily done before. I wouldn't necessarily say the processes of the organisation beforehand allowed the coaches and the teams to feel comfortable with the whole thing.
You kind of got that a little bit, especially with like the big teams that were kind of vying for a championship, like England, France, Ireland, especially almost like from memory, especially Ireland. They sort of seem to keep everything very close to their chest.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of, because I've been a big fan of the Drive to Survive series, and I just was sort of always comparing the episodes to that and how free and honest the guys were in the F1 episodes compared to the rugby.
Yeah, I
episodes.
mean, and both Drive to Survive, a couple of others. Is it Full Swing, the golf one? They're all done by the same company.
Yeah.
And as a format, that is a very workable format. I think with rugby, it's firstly, I'd say, just going back to your point about Drive to Survive, if you remember the first series of Drive to Survive, they didn't really have the access to the big teams.
No, yeah,
and
true.
And
like,
the actual
Hamilton
stories
wasn't
coming out
really
of
on
like
it much.
Huss and these other teams was actually really fascinating.
It was,
so it helped carry
like
the
Gunther
series,
and,
and these characters that came out.
But it's the characters like Gunther. Like maybe there's one or two characters of those in F1, I don't know, but there's like almost everyone in rugby is of that character. Like the recent one, I didn't realize he had such a dry sense of humor and wit was I'm going to look really amateur now, but I've forgotten his name. But it was on the Lions series that you did on YouTube, and he was rooming with Ellis Genge, Irish guy.
Finley Bealham, that's it.
Yeah. I had no idea because he seems so quiet when you watch him on TV.
Yeah.
But then to see his character in, obviously, like in that, it was again a sort of welcomed insight to the characters of these guys. And I just wish I maybe saw more of that within the Netflix documentary.
Yeah, and who's to say if they were able to commission a third or fourth, which they unfortunately didn't, but who's to say that by that point they would have at least be able to get those characters out. But there's a lot sort of went on that people weren't able to see that probably didn't necessarily enable those characters to come out. But
Joel, what's the favorite rugby ground you've ever filmed at?
That's a great question. To be honest, there was. I actually love the Principality. I love the Principality because, as an atmosphere, it's an incredible place. I think it's probably the only place I've ever got very emotional on a opposition's national anthem.
Yeah, do you know what? I went to the Principality Stadium to watch. This was a while ago, to watch the All Blacks v Wales, and they had the roof closed.
Yeah.
And when they were singing that national anthem, like the Welsh national anthem, and the whole place is vibrating. I mean, it almost brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
And that was actually the one and only time that the All Blacks have never performed the haka on the pitch.
Oh, really?
No, there was some sort. I don't know. I can't remember what the ins and outs of it were. And obviously, I'm there. I was quite a young kid, looking forward to seeing the haka live, and they had to perform it in the tunnel or in the change room. I can't remember what the logistics were, but they never actually performed it on the pitch for the first time ever.
That's true.
And the first time since. Yeah.
Wow.
The only time since.
You were there to witness.
I was there to witness that. Yeah,
just unfortunate history. The most recent sort of Australia tour with the Lions, the MTG. Like, I mean, I repeated myself, but as a sporting stadium, this incredibly iconic with cricket.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, that is probably the coolest place I've ever filmed.
You filmed, awesome. What's the one piece of kit you can't live without?
Well, the obvious. The obvious would be that, I guess, saying the camera.
Yeah.
But then I guess you wouldn't necessarily have the camera if you didn't have the batteries. You wouldn't be able to record anything if you didn't have the cards. So.
Plenty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah, camera. I mean, I'd feel bad if as a videographer, if I didn't say camera.
Yeah, cool. I'm really conscious that time is rolling, but this is really great. I'm so interested. So you're now setting up your own business. You want to help up and coming sports stars.
Yep.
Brand themselves. What inspired you to do this?
Yeah, so it's not necessarily up and coming, yes, also established.
established, yeah,
established
yeah.
and ex players.
Okay.
So it's kind of the whole spectrum really. Something I realized when I was at 2019 World Cup, by that point I was kind of like, I'm doing a lot of videos for the lads' Instagram, because Instagram was starting to gain a bit of traction with sort of the video side of things. And I was like, surely there's a gap in the market here, or at least something I could start monetizing.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and it didn't really make sense for me to go freelance, or at least take the leap in that stage. But no, I mean, it's more of a case of over the years having made content for players.
Yeah, it's what you know.
It's what I know, but also there's definitely still a gap in the market for not necessarily a content creator to work with players, but a content creator to work with players, I guess, that players trust and understand. And one of the major things I'd say is that a lot of lads can pick up a phone and they can film themselves, and they can put it out on socials, but it's knowing what to film, how to film it, having the strategy around it, and also knowing what to write in the caption, which a lot of the lads question.
I've got a random one. Sorry, I'm going to sound really stupid. I've never been to a rugby game in my life. I will go one day.
Just let me know.
I know. I do. I like it. I think it's great.
Well, you'll love the day itself.
Yes.
As well
I'm mesmerized by how hard they hit each other.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like a day one, week one here, but how the hell did they stay in one piece, mate?
Yeah.
When you've got 16 stone, another 16 stone dude, is that heavy? That's heavy, isn't it? Smacking each other at about, one's running at 15, other one's running at 15 k's an hour, whatever, more. I mean, the sound of it, because you probably hear it, don't you, in training and stuff like that? It must sound
flesh, bone on bone.
Yeah, it must sound. What does that ever shock you sometimes? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, it can definitely, especially when it's so close to it. Yeah. Like I mean, their bodies are incredibly conditioned to it, for starters, but then they have world-class recovery facilities that they literally have on their doorstep, which helps. Tissue massage.
There's also you're a rugby player currently still, aren't you?
I've taken a little bit of a step back.
So my nipper, my youngest one, is doing rugby training and coaching and stuff, and they teach you how to tackle. So there are safe tackling procedures. Part of the ref's job is to check that they are tackling properly. So when you see a yellow card or red card come out, there's probably been a really big infringement of a rule. So within rugby, there is a safe way to do it. It doesn't take away the fact that you get to more like 20 stone, by the way, guys running towards each other. Their aim is to get the ball, not each other, but it's going to happen.
I think what I'm getting at is you see it, don't you? I'm on about the sound. Like, you must be there, quiet, a few lads chatting and a few little tackles, whatever. It must sound incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds incredible. I guess you almost.
That's the wrong word, but incredible.
No, it's
yeah,
impactful.
no, I know what you mean.
Have you watched First Contact on Netflix? So they obviously turned up the sound when the impact happened, but there's that sound, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's the impact.
Bit of sound design.
Yeah, sound design. Oh yeah, that's a videographer.
I do actually have a rugby story.
Yes, please.
If you want me to, you know it, don't you? My 15-minute. This is, and it's gonna be. No, it's cool. And it's not many times in our life that we have an interview like this. It's incredible, and it just is what it is sometimes. But the army unit I was with in Germany at the time, the guy, the combined services manager, he was a Welsh chap. He was a staff sergeant, para commando. I'm allowed to swear on it. He's a hard bastard, and he committed adultery, and he couldn't go on the tour with the army team to play the Royal Air Force and the Navy. It's a big thing in the military. And the first and second team go on that. So if you're the champions, you go off and do X, Y, and Z. So he was looking for a third team. And at the time, I was like a 400-meter runner. So I was quick. I was, did it for the army. And I was like the third man on a 4x4 team, whatever. So I was doing like 400 meters, like 49.9. Anyway, he rocked up into our work, and this is the worst Welsh accent in the world. He goes, "Andy, do you play fucking rugby?" I was like,
It's not bad.
no, Taff, no, not at all. He went, "You're fucking playing rugby." I was like, anyway, I ended up playing, and we were playing. It was the 35. This is horrendous, by the way. So there was a couple of really good players that had turned up as well. Like who's the guy that chucks the ball out of the scrum? Scrum off. He was the combined services scrum off, and he was an absolute legend. But he wasn't going for whatever reason. So they had a third team, and I was the winger. Never played ever. Now just bear on this story. It was the Royal Regiment of WRA, anyway, army unit that I was on the same camp with. And they were full of Fijians. So the whistle goes. Within 5 minutes, the ball flung into my hand, and no one had a chance. It just ended up in my hand. I went through. 2 Fijians came up to me. They said to me, "That's never going to happen again." So about 10 minutes later, ball ends up on my hand, and that's all I can ever remember. I was on the floor. Honestly,
sounds a bit like your tortoise.
Yeah, my tortoise. Yeah, very good. Very good. I was on the floor, absolute pieces, and I can remember looking at the Taff. He goes, "No," and I ran off the pitch.
Oh.
I actually ran away. Limping. That's how brutal that was. But yeah, that was my story of the day. Thank you very much. Sorry.
I can back up though that Fijians are notoriously hard to tackle.
Oh yeah.
I played at Roslyn Park Sevens, and it was against Saracens, and they had a Fijian, and I tackled him low, and he just offloaded it. I thought, I'm gonna have to go high to try and wrap the ball up. I went high, and I got tossed over his back like a rucksack.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, 2-man job, and then
they're just incredible athletes.
Unreal.
The genetics on them are incredible.
Yeah. That's super cool. I mean, we could talk about rugby all day. Can you come back? Can we do another chat?
Absolutely.
I've got one more question. If you could collaborate with any sports person in the world right now, who would it be?
Right now?
Yeah. The suspense.
That noise is actually my brain.
Is it? It's a really windy day here, and I hope it's not coming through on the mics.
No, I'm sure it's all right.
Okay.
It's a great question, and I'm quickly trying to rack my brain because obviously I know we've gone over time as well. For me, I mean, I'll probably be able to give you a better answer, maybe another time, but I'd love to get into the mind of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh.
And it's a bit of a cliche answer. I mean, a lot of people would say this, but the guy is like nearing on 40 years of age and is still unbelievable at what he does. And I'd love to almost, and there has been, he's done his own YouTube channel and stuff like that, but I'd love to just almost do a fly on the wall doc with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
To sort of understand him more, because I've heard great things about him. I've got a friend who worked on his YouTube channel.
Okay.
Incredible guy, apparently very polite, very nice. But yeah, as a sports person, he'd been at the top of his game for so long.
Yeah, awesome. Really, really cool. Ross, Andy, any other parting thoughts? All good. Joel, that's been amazing. You've had such a cool career. I mean, like you said, you've traveled the world. You've been in contact with some seriously cool rugby players. They might not be the best team, you know.
Hey, I got to know some Springboks as well.
Did you?
Yeah, but that's another podcast.
I mean, we were talking about tall. Ep.9 is
he's a joke.
He's unbelievably big.
His arms are bigger than a lot of people's heads.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are just impressive human beings on a physical level. Anyway, we could definitely talk about that for another podcast, couldn't we?
I'll leave you to that.
Thank you, yeah. I'm fine, yeah. In fact, can we invite them on?
Sure, why not? That makes me cool.
Yeah, just have a little chat. This week's podcast has been sponsored by AMFA. They are a finance, asset, and personal wealth management company, very much involved with Pinnacle, but they also support Andy in his own triathlon ventures. So a really big sponsor for us and a really big supporter. So thank you to AMFA for your support this week. You've been listening to the Pinnacle podcast. It has been a joy as always. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Joel, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Done. Oh man, what a cool.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, was that all right?